Hello, I'm Scott, the breathing guy. I'll train you to locate, generate, activate core key energy in physical activity. This video series is part of the driver swing mechanics with key energy. Lesson 2, the 4 components, and this is lesson A, the core generator. And this is this area right here. And since my specialty is key energy developing through core breath, how do you create this? And it's a very interactive with the attitude up here, but that's another story. So creating the core generator, the way I approach it is the way you create your breath, core breath. How do you move your core? Now, everyone thinks of the core as one thing. It isn't. There's 2 parts. There's an upper core and a lower core. And in the golf swing, you have to know which core to use. Because what part of the core is the strongest will have the best expression in the movement that you want to generate. And in the golf swing, driver swing or this iron swing, is the goal of the lower body is to turn the hips. How fast can you turn the hips is the key. So the part there you want to energize through the way you breathe, core breathe. And you have to go to fitness. I'll have a whole series on how to practice breathing from your core to do this, to generate this type of energy involved. So understand how you breathe creates this. How you tighten the core. That's your front of your area, here in the stomach area. And you want to make it below the belly button. That's right. So there's 2 parts to the core, lower core and upper core. Upper core is the diaphragm, lower core is below the belly button. If the area below the belly is weak, you're weak in the legs. You can be very strong in the upper body, but not too much in the legs. So the way you engage your core, also the way you tip your hips, because when you want to swing, do a golf swing, you want a flat lower back. So the more you tip your hips a little forward, now push your belly button out, not in. Just push your belly and let the air siphon down your throat, and then push it out a little bit. That makes it hard below the belly button. Now you got something to play with. That's your energy tension side. Then you go, since we're dealing with the core is the source of your energy and strength, 2 separate things. The more you can develop the energy side, the stronger you can make the muscle side. And you project your energy side to these 2 motors. That's the piriformis muscle. Then the old classic, you tighten your butt. When you tighten your butt, you're working the piriformis muscle. Now, the better you do that, the more your hips are going to turn with more force. You can make your feet stronger. You can make your upper body stronger. But it's selecting the muscle sensation. It's not general, but if you don't tighten this area up down below the belly button, you cannot engage the piriformis muscle to a level of effectiveness if you really want a dynamic lower body turning of the hips. A lot of golf swings I see is that the shoulders start first, they get a quarter down, halfway down, then the hips start turning. You want the hips to turn first to initiate the shoulder rotation. We'll get into that. So the first thing you have to understand, you have to make this core, make the generator, energy side, then you ship it, then you direct it down to here, to the that's your physical side. That is the muscle necessary to engage all physical activity, your feet, your hands, everything. Now, up here, so this is the engagement. How you create this is in the attitude generator. We'll get to that on the next video series. But learning to use and how you get that for strength. We're only dealing with strength here. You want to have a physically strong, you push your belly button out to inhale, and you pull your belly button in to exhale. That activates muscle strength involved. Example of that. If you want the best example of power weightlifters, you're not going to get much more stronger than these guys lifting all this weight. Look at the core and how they breathe and push their stomach out. They breathe by pushing their stomach out. They don't pull their stomach out. And 2, They make it very strong down here, not just up here. And sit-ups don't cut it. It helps, but usually most sit-ups, people use the diaphragm area, but not below. To engaging this core, you have to tilt the hips forward slightly so you have no arch. Now you can push it out. That prevents back problems. So the more you learn to develop this, the less chance in the rotation of your swing and in stopping the club head of you hurting your back. That's the beauty of understanding this area right here of how to create it. So, first thing you want to do to create the core generator, the idea of breathing, you push your belly button out. You don't put it straight out. You push it out and down at a 45 so you engage below the belly button. You want that area below it to be engaged to some degree. And the better you have that, the better than the upper diaphragm, upper core. Then, as soon as you do it, in order to do that, your hips have to be out. You push it out. When you squeeze it a little here, push it out, the hips are stable. You can move. You can see this area here is stable. It's not going to hurt, but you can still do twisting at the waist. That way it doesn't kink your spine up. Less chance. Then you can squeeze your glutes. That's that. But you have to be very selective on the sensation the mind up here feels, because it directs energy. It directs what muscles you're going to engage. You have the ability to select what muscles are going to be engaged. The best example of that you can see is if you want to see Schwarzenegger doing his contests, bodybuilding contests. Those guys work very hard to be able to tighten and soften select muscles at will. Their sensitivity gets you. So, learning to engage these muscles only after you engage the lower core. If you don't engage the core, you can't activate these. This is the rule. It's always energy first, then strength second involved. So I'm making aware of this. You go to the fitness side, I'll have more illustration of that. And when the driver swing mechanics, I'll have more illustration of that. But understanding that component, a part of all the 4 components, is the key to really grasping of creating a much more dynamic golf swing in the driver or any club at this stage. But I'm really designing it for the driver. We'll see that in this driver swing mechanics more involved. So just briefly, understand you have a core. It's the front of your body. It's down in the lower core you want. For the golf swing, every sport will make their core differently, engage the piriformis muscle, these motors differently, depends on what the sport is. Power weightlifting will do it one way. Swimming will do it another way. The golf swing has its own unique way to maximize the goal of bringing that club head through the ball. So go out, have a good day. This is the beginning. This is driver swing mechanics with key energy. Lesson 2, the 4 components, A, core. That's okay. That's all right. You don't have